Thomas returns to Los Angeles after an extended and much-needed sabbatical in Paris, where he claims to have confronted and vanquished the darkness that once consumed him. He speaks of clarity, of purpose, of resurrection. But beneath the carefully crafted calm lies a man determined to settle scores and reclaim everything he believes he deserves. His target, Carter Walton. The debt is personal and deep. Carter once stood between Thomas and hope, a barrier Thomas refused to submit to. Now Thomas is back, not to beg forgiveness, but to rewrite the script. He unveils his plan, the Remission collection, a daring couture line fueled by themes Thomas knows well: undying love, irresistible longing, and the intoxicating dance between seduction and power. He positions the collection as a soulmate's quest for redemption, a visceral exploration of the thin line between passion and possession. To give it impact, he chooses his muse, Hope Logan. He intends to draw her into his creative web, reignite what once burned between them, and force Carter to watch. Remission is more than fashion, it's weaponized emotion. Carter, confident and secure in his relationship with Hope, receives Thomas's proposal at Logan Designs. The brief is compelling, a minimal capsule couture line focusing on timeless silhouettes tinged with shadow. Black-on-black tailored jackets, velvet-draped column gowns, coats with exaggerated shoulders that suggest protection and dominance. With Thomas in Paris, topics like power dynamics and inner demons had shaped his sketches. Now brought to life in Los Angeles, the Remission collection presents hope as its face. Neutral palette punctuated with red accents, eyeshadow that mirrors a Renaissance Madonna coming out of darkness into light, sharp silhouettes suggesting a woman both angelic and assertive. The press will eat it up, especially with Hope's presence. Hope is flattered, excited, always the professional, seeking to help resurrect a line in need of identity. She agrees to sit for test fittings and artistic direction sessions. Carter is supportive, confident in their trust. He believes in Thomas's transformation. He believes in Hope's independence to draw boundaries. The Remission launch is scheduled at Forrester Creations Runway Space, with both Logan and Forrester teams collaborating under a truce forced by business necessity. Thomas orchestrates the creative sessions with deliberate intimacy. He asks Hope to share her fears and her dreams, encouraging her to reveal vulnerability that will inspire design. To the team, it appears like mentoring. Privately, he watches her soul. He encourages concept sketches that blend innocence with strength, referencing Hope's past heartbreaks with an unnerving specificity. Hope, trusting his artistic vision, pours her heart into the designs without noticing the strings he's weaving. Meanwhile, Carter notices the growing tension. The studio air thickens as Thomas's intensity makes Hope visibly uneasy. Carter suggests boundaries. No late-night fitting calls, no solo studio meetings. Thomas smiles, agreeing, but subtly adjusts schedules so he's in proximity to Hope more often, unplanned coffee chats, urgent design sketches that require Hope's opinion. Hope, professional and kind, reciprocates. She wants the collection to succeed. She brushes off Carter's concerns as protectiveness. The test-fitting day arrives. Hope steps into a gown from Remission, black silk, corseted bodice that clings to her like a second skin, a low back that suggests rebellion. Red silk lining glimpsed only when she walks. She stands before the full-length mirror, radiant and vulnerable. Thomas joins her. He touches the silk, looks up at her, and says in a low voice, "This is what redemption feels like." Hope freezes. There's something in his tone, less creative director and more hypnotist. Carter appears behind her. The moment fractures. Thomas steps back, gracious and charming. "Tell me what you feel." The launch party. An invitation-only event at a dimly lit Forrester runway hall draped in black velvet. The audience sips smoky cocktails. Models glide down the runway in Remission pieces. Hope joins the final walk atop the stage, flanked by red roses as petals drift around her feet. She radiates power. The crowd gasps. Thomas watches from the wings, his gaze intense, triumphant. He knows the effect. Carter feels it too. After the show, press interviews follow. Hope is asked about the emotional resonance of the collection. She speaks eloquently of healing, rebirth, the artist's journey. But Carter notices her quick glances toward Thomas, the soft tone in her voice when she mentions him. That hinted nostalgia alarms Carter, awakening old fears. Thomas uses every opportunity. A celebratory dinner is arranged under the guise of team bonding. Carter attends, Hope attends. Thomas orders champagne. The table is lit with candles that flicker between them. He raises a toast to new beginnings, second chances. Hope smiles. Carter toasts back, but tension pulses. Thomas recounts his trip to Paris, speaks of monasteries and cathedrals. Hope touches his hand briefly in encouragement. Carter's gaze narrows. They leave early. Carter drives home in silence, the engine humming like a warning bell. The next morning, Carter insists on revisiting their agreement. He wants them to complete the photo shoot and then step back. Hope assures him she's fine. Carter watches her leave. He cannot shake the sense that Thomas has set a trap. He reaches out to Liam, who's freelancing coverage for Logan Designs. He meets Liam at the studio. He's still friends with Hope, still protective. Carter warns him about Thomas's past, arranges an innocent run-in. Liam greets Hope, but Thomas overshadows him. Liam senses the atmospheric shift. He warns Carter, this could get messy. As Remission's marketing campaign rolls out, billboards of Hope cloaked in black silk, red rose in hand, tagline, from shadows to light, public interest skyrockets. Parker film coverage teases the Brooke, Hope, Thomas love triangle reborn. Gossip sites speculate, who is the real muse? Carter's anxiety grows parallel to the hype. He tries to steer the narrative, shared interviews with Hope, highlighting Carter's role as collaborator, as pillar. Hope fields questions adeptly, but her answers hint at emotional complexity she didn't intend. Behind the scenes, Thomas meets Hope privately to direct a portrait film. He speaks softly, encouraging vulnerability. He leans closer to guide her gaze toward the camera. She tenses. The cameraman meets Carter's exasperated glare when he walks in. Carter intervenes. Maybe you should give her space. Thomas agrees coolly. Carter walks out. Afterward, Hope confronts Thomas. Don't push me like that. Thomas shrugs, inscrutable. She wonders aloud, what did you want from me? He smiles cryptically, truth. She turns away, tears threatening. The campaign videos hit social. Viewers see Hope's trembling voice as she speaks of love lost and reclaimed. Comment sections explode. Carter hears a phone ping. He reads a message from Hope. What have I done? Under pressure, he meets her at home. She admits to the emotional drain, the confusion. Carter wraps her in his arms. We'll step back. She nods, exhausted. He leaves to inform Thomas. Thomas receives the message. They're pulling out. He feigns gracious acceptance. Internally, he seethes. He knows this is moment 2 of his scheme. Push too hard, watch her pull back, emotional reaction. He escalates, flies to Paris claiming new inspiration, announces a global expansion of Remission featuring Hope as international ambassador. The implication, if she declines, she's no longer muse, no longer part of the magic. The collection will go forward, with or without her. Carter fumes. Hope is torn between loyalty. To him, to her career, to herself. At the gala in Paris, press coverage announces Hope's attendance. Carter is left balancing the personal and the professional. He supports her boldly on stage, but his glare at Thomas is feral. Thomas stands calm, stepping aside to let Carter hug Hope, but the angle locks in a moment cameras will capture. Framing us for intrigue, Carter mutters. Hope, under bright lights and whispered questions, holds firm. Remission is about human resilience. Carter and I. We're partners in everything. Thomas's vision sparked that, but my heart remains where it always is. She stopped speculation, but doubt was planted. Carter's relief is temporary. He knows the undercurrent is shallow. Back in LA, after the Paris whirlwind, Hope arrives home at midnight. Carter meets her at the door. They stand in silence, the echo of jet engines still in their ears. He embraces her ID'd fragrance, the perfume of doubt and resolve. She weeps softly. Thomas used me. He runs his hand through her hair and says, You're stronger than his games. We get through this together. Hope nods, knowing the healing begins now. In boardrooms on both coasts, tensions simmer. Logan Designs praises Hope's diplomatic brilliance. Values shift. What does uncontrolled emotion mean in creative marketing? At Spencer Publications, Carter re-examines his role in branding love and partnership. Inside, he vows, no more shadows. No more manipulation. Thomas, meanwhile, stands alone in his Paris atelier, the Remission sketches spread across the table. He pours a glass of red wine and lifts it to empty air. His gaze drifts to the framed photo of himself and Hope, arms linked down the runway. A smile curves his lips, equal parts regret and triumph. Did he heal? Has he remitted his own darkness? Or merely passed it like a torch? The Remission arc closes not with a classic victory, but a changed landscape. Hope and Carter emerge battered but bonded, having resisted one of the most seductive creative traps imaginable. Thomas achieves professional success, Remission wows critics and sells luxury, but personally, his victory tastes hollow. He aimed to repay Carter with Hope's heart, but instead, he repaid himself with validation and exposure. The silent question remains, can artistry be detached from emotion's weapons? Can creation be clean when fueled by past pain? And as Paris lights dim behind him, Thomas confronts what he said he'd fought, the darkness once more stirring in isolation. A story closing on calm surfaces, but below it, currents swirl. Each character shifts slightly, Hope more wary, Carter more protective, Thomas both triumphant and empty. The emotional battlefield of love, power, and redemption hasn't ended, it's just evolved. Remission may have concluded, but its scars mark the next chapter.